A new report has just surfaced, and it's all about the Russo brothers, Anthony and Joe Russo. Now, both of them were actually brought back to the MCU because they were needed to save the dying MCU. And now, this is after Phase 5. The MCU's Phase 5 has been a catastrophic disaster for Disney, and they wanted to revive the MCU, and that's why they brought the Russos back. They believe Russos were the key component that made the MCU the juggernaut that it was, at least prior to that Phase 4, Phase 5. Now, what's being reported here, and this is from Daniel RPK. He's a guy that is quite consistent with his scoops. Now, he says this on X. The Russo brothers were reportedly signed on to the MCU with a new deal to oversee multiple projects, including the new X-Men film. Now, they didn't only just bring them back to direct the Avengers Doomsday, where you will have Robert Downey Jr. alongside Tom Holland and other major stars like Mark Ruffalo. You have also Chris Helmsworth. Even there's a new rumor that states that Chris Evans will still return, but not as just the Captain America that we already know, but as Nomad. Uh, Even other stars like Anthony Mackie will keep playing the current Captain America in the new Avengers Doomsday, as you will have Robert Downey Jr. take up the mantle as Doctor Doom going forward. Now, this is not the main project they at least they are signed on to work on. This report says that they will be doing other projects for Disney behind the scenes. Now, even if they're not going to direct X-Men reboot, they will oversee the X-Men reboot filming, probably be the producers of this upcoming X-Men reboot. Similar to what happened with Deadpool and Wolverine, starring Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, this is a situation whereby Disney wants to salvage and at least bring the audience back to the MCU. That's just what they want to do right now. Phase 5 has been an absolute disaster for Disney in many ways. Now, this is after Avengers Endgame. Apart from Spider Man No Way Home, and as well as your Deadpool and Wolverine that made over $1 billion last year, every other project failed. Every other project failed. From Black Widow's own film to Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantum Mania. So many projects were a big disaster. Even the Marvel starring Brie Larson. I've talked about Brie Larson trying to change her ways recently. She's no longer going after men. Many things led to the demise of the MCU after Endgame. So many things, so many propaganda that the MCU started pushing, woke agenda and everything. It all led to massive downward trajectory in box office return. Every time they tried something, it wasn't working. It just wasn't working. So bringing back the Russo brothers is quite smart. Joe Russo and Anthony Russo, they are very prolific with their style of directing. And one of the key reasons why the Russo brothers are different is that every Marvel film that has been directed by these guys have been hugely successful, from Captain America Winter Soldier, Captain America Civil War, to all the Avengers like the Infinity War and Endgame. All these films made a lot of money, billions of dollars for Disney because of one reason. The reason is that they follow the source materials from the comics. Disney started shying away from this, hiring directors and producers that know nothing about the comics of those characters they want to bring to the big screen. So what they do is that they tell their own story. They can wokify it, can push all their trans agenda, all their LGBT agenda, without actually following the comics. So when they do all this nonsense, people will easily see it and they will run away and not pay money to watch it, or at least they will advise people against going to the theaters to support these projects. So this has been going on for so long, but the difference between these whack directors and the Russo brothers is that Russo brothers actually read the comics. They follow the comics T to T. They are almost virtually identical to the source materials, and the audience have loved all their work because they respect the source materials. They respect the comics, and this is why Kevin Feige has asked for them to be rehired, brought back to save a franchise that should not even be dying. Let's just be real here. The MCU has had no business after Endgame to be underperforming because you already had a footstool where you can build from. It's not like you are trying to build a brand. This is the biggest franchise in the history of cinema that you are talking about here. And now you start using it to push your agenda because you're hiring whack nut jobs that don't care about source materials. And now you need someone like the Russo brothers to come save your mess. Save, and you're bringing back old time stars, the big stars, Chris Evans, Robert Downey Jr., even Elizabeth Olsen would return as well. I'm even hearing she will be back as well. Um, Don Cheadle will also return as I think his own Armor Wars has been cancelled as a series for now, but I suspect it will be in the Avengers Doomsday film. So you have a lot of stars here that honestly they should at least revive the MCU. But the reality is that everything boils down to the Russo brothers. They will keep overseeing the resurrection of the MCU. If they can stop their woke agenda in this new phase, then we will have a better new phase than what they have done in the recent past. Having the Russo brother oversee the X-Men film is a very good step in the right direction for Marvel Studios. Now I can't even say who's going to direct the upcoming X-Men film because there's no announcement as to who's going to work on it. We already have Hugh Jackman returning as Wolverine. Hugh Jackman did an excellent job in Deadpool. You have Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. Now I don't know of any other star. I think they want to cast new people for Storm, and other like Jean Grey. Uh, I think I talked about Sadie Sink being the next chick they want to cast as Jean Grey. They will have other people that they will bring in to the MCU to see if they can revive this brand back. So guys, if you like this report, please smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, follow us here on our YouTube channel. I'll see you guys very much next time.